To show you a witness, somebody who maybe should have been a prosecution witness to prove racketeering.
Certainly could have been, and his name did come up during testimony, and that is Suge Knight, the former head of Death Row Records. And he came up, you remember, when one of Diddy's ex-assistants talked about a moment where security for Diddy ran in the room and said, Suge Knight is down the road.
Yeah, the assistant went to this place called Mel's Diners, which is on the Sunset Strip, saw Suge Knight there, right, and then came home with the food.
Well, the security came home.
The security came home with the food.
And said, Suge Knight's down at Mel's Diner, and the way the assistant described it is that Diddy and security guards grab guns, and they
three guns,
and they all go down to Mel's Diner to confront Suge Knight. So we've heard that side of the story. Suge Knight's side of the story is more about what would have happened. Now, and again, he was not called as a witness.
But let me just say, here's why it's important. That racketeering is a charge, and there are some people, and I'll say myself included, on the racketeering charge.
I'm glad you owned that.
I'm just having problems looking at a lot of this as racketeering, classic racketeering. Here, you have this war between Bad Boy and Death Row Records, and you know these guys are mortal enemies. And then all of a sudden, you see Diddy loading up a car with guns.
Mm-hmm.
So
you see this as the classic racketeering because it's organization versus organization.
Kind of, and then somebody willing to take these guns and confront him. So I guess then the question is, what would have happened?
Well, you asked Suge that very question.
Diddy's casual threat encapsulates a toxic culture of fear within his organization. It highlights how power dynamics can lead to intimidation, potentially silencing victims who might otherwise speak out against such behavior. This is not just a personal issue. It reflects a broader systemic problem in the entertainment industry.
Brief interview with him from his jail cell. He is doing time at California State Prison for involuntary manslaughter. This was the conversation about Diddy and that potential confrontation.
The prosecution made it appear that Diddy was going to confront you in a very ominous way with 3 guns in the car when he went back to Mel's Diner. Did you guys have serious beef to the point where he might have used those guns, do you think?
If he'd have confronted me and he had a gun, you best believe he was going to have to use it or something was going to happen. If he had 3 guns, it really was something was going to happen.
Had the disputes between the two of you escalated to the point where there could have been violence?
When you're dealing with drugs and alcohol and even fear, some people feel if they're scared enough, they feel they got to do something. They can't do it with their hands, so they got to make sure they bring guns.
Do people bring guns to use them or to protect themselves in a situation like this?
If you got the serial number shade off, you best believe they're supposed to be to use them.
Sure, can I ask, when you were at Mel's Diner that night, were you armed?
Harvey, you know I will always tell you, I'm in prison, I probably was armed with my Bible. Other words, you know I ain't going to answer that question, Harvey.
Fair. That's fair.
Harvey, I'm with you. I think it's pretty crazy that the prosecution did not want to call Suge as a witness to kind of tie this racketeering case together with Diddy. And if you're going to call the Punisher, why can't you call Suge?
You know, I disagree with what Austin's saying. You don't really need Suge. You need to show that Diddy ordered his minions to assemble the guns. He put them on his lap. He was looking for an armed confrontation. Suge didn't know anything. Suge was at Mel's having a burger. Suge wasn't even there by the time they got there. So all you need is to say Diddy wanted an armed confrontation, and it's clear he did. This wasn't self-defense. He said, "Let's get some guns and go confront Suge."
Assistant's testimony.
You don't think Suge Knight on the stand, because it's not going to go a minute 30.
Are you suggesting that they would do something just for theatrics?
I don't even think it's theatrics. I think it's underscoring that there was this
feud between them.
Between two big businesses.
Right.
Because what you didn't hear is Suge actually got into Tupac in this thing. So, yeah.
There's a danger in having Suge on the stand. Suge is a little bit of a loose cannon. If you're the prosecutors, you don't want him getting up there saying, Diddy did this, he was on drugs, not in his right state of mind. That kind of helps Diddy when you say things like that. So it's complicated to have Suge on the stand.
I don't think the prosecution's shy about drugs in this case. I don't think they've been shy about drugs.
This chilling statement underscores the violent lengths to which Diddy allegedly goes to maintain control. The use of threats not only instills fear, but also serves as a grim reminder of how unchecked power can manifest in dangerous ways. The implications are staggering, revealing the darker side of celebrity culture.
Before we go, I got to ask you about the Suge Knight thing. I interviewed him yesterday, and I got to say, I mean, he said there would have been a gunfight, essentially, had Diddy shown up at Mel's Diner.
Or if Suge was still there.
If Suge was still there. And, you know, they're trying to show racketeering. And I got to tell you, a lot of this feels like a jealous, crazy criminal boyfriend. But Suge Knight, what he did there with 3 guns going to Mel's and all that, there you get into racketeering testimony. I'm a little surprised they didn't roll the dice and call him.
Well, I mean, I don't think you would want a current inmate who's in prison for horrible things and has been there for a long time, will probably be there for a long time. I don't know that helps your case. I'm sure there's a lot of free people who could help the prosecution a lot.
This admission from Suge Knight about Capricorn's feelings of vulnerability speaks volumes about the emotional toll of working in such high-pressure environments. It raises critical questions about mental health support and safety for individuals in the industry, especially those who dare to challenge powerful figures.
Or the defense.
I think it helps more that he's in prison. It's like, yeah, but that's the guy that he was at war with.
Can you imagine the cross-examination of...
I mean, you know, I think the Suge Knight story told by the personal assistant David James, goes to the notion of the violence of this person and how far he would go to protect or to attack other people. So not only is he attacking Kid Cudi's car, he's also trying to attack Suge and other people. So he's using violence in a purposeful way. He's not just Chris Brown lashing out at whoever's in front of him. He's using the violence to control Cassie and others, especially with Cudi. People still asking, why didn't Cassie leave? She knew that he attacked Kid Cudi's car, to say nothing of what happened in the Intercontinental Hotel. But like, she knew he attacked Kid Cudi's car. Like, that could happen to her or her mother. Like, how do I leave knowing that this man has this potential?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that was the point. He's not getting
agree
it.
Agree to disagree on this.
We've been going back and forth on this whole racketeering thing.
One.
But we will see. We got several weeks to go. Teray, we will talk to you next time, man.
The trial surrounding Diddy reveals a shocking narrative of threats and intimidation that could redefine our understanding of celebrity power dynamics. With allegations of violence and coercion surfacing, it's essential to recognize the broader implications on victims' mental health and the systemic issues at play. We must demand accountability and change in the industry.